Hello and welcome to the Book Bunch. My name is Sam. It is so great to have you guys for another video. It is Saturday nighttime filming, so you get crappy Saturday night lighting. Sorry about that, guys. It is rather yellow because the lights in this room are all yellow, like warm lights, and I really wish we had some white lights in the house that I could use instead, but I do not, so you'll have to bear with me. But I still wanted to get a video up today, and so this is the best that I could do. Today we are going to talk about these two sci-fi reads, as well as we are going through my bookmark box, bookish box. It's got various bits and pieces, so I will dive in that with you guys because I thought you guys might like to see my bookmark collection. It is my goal to grow that this year because I've really been enjoying using different bookmarks. I don't have very many bookish bookmarks, so that is something I need to fix. So if you guys have any recommendations of bookish bookmarks, let me know in the comments below because I'm on the hunt. But first, we are going to talk about these two books. Now, this first book is The Skin Map, and I'm going to talk about it first because I have an unpopular opinion. And I am going to preface this by saying I'm sorry, Celestia. I know you like this book. I bought it because you said you liked it. But I think this is the first time we've disagreed. I have tried reading this book maybe 3 times now over the course of about 3 months. So I've given it a fair chance at trying to get into this story. And I got 2/3 of the way in and I honestly couldn't keep going. So I've officially marked it as a DNF. I wrote it on Goodreads as a 3 out of 5 just because I know a lot of people love this book. And I honestly don't know if it's just me or not. But I did not like this lawhead. I'm sorry. And it's not that it was bad. It's just I wasn't captivated by what was happening. And I didn't like chapter 20. I feel like for a Christian author, I'm confused as to why chapter 20 was in there, but we're going to talk about it. So The Skin Map, this is part of I think there's 3 books in the series, but maybe there's more than that. And this is a story about this skin map, which is a map of these ley lines, which are essentially, sorry, tripping over my words, ley lines are essentially portals between different time periods on Earth. So there's lots of random ley lines around. Most prominent ones are in like weird places that have mystery around them, like Stonehenge, Bermuda Triangle, that kind of thing. And people that know how to do these time jumps, or this leaping it's called, or even sometimes people that get pulled into it, they can use these ley lines to go from one time period to another. And it is very confusing and a very vast, expansive system of basically connecting pathways. And yes, it's all super crazy, and it does get explained throughout the book. But there was this one guy, and he is said to have mapped the whole network, or like at least all the significant parts, and found the truth of the universe, or some kind of hidden secret. And he had this map that he created tattooed over his body, and then when he died, that skin was kind of cut off and turned into essentially a type of parchment, which is made of dried skin. And the map was cut up into lots of pieces, because he didn't want people getting their hands on it because it's a big deal. And there's this one group of people who are trying to get the map together to keep it out of the bad guys' hands, and then there's this group of bad guys who will do anything, including murder, to get hold of this map because they have basically plans to take over the world and go through all the times and take over and do things. And so we follow this young guy. His name is Christopher, but he is called Kit, and he is in a rather lackluster relationship with a girl named Wilhelmina, and they haven't broken up with each other, even though they don't really love each other, but they are just kind of comfortable in their routine, so nothing's changed. And he is going to meet her one day, but he walks through this ley line and activates it, and he ends up in a different time period, and he's like freaking out and has no idea what's just happened. And then he stumbles into his great grandfather, who is a ley line leaper, and he kind of gets thrust into this adventure. But before he really has a chance to know much about it, he goes back home to explain what happened to Wilhelmina. She doesn't believe him, so he's like, you know what, I'm going to take you to this ley line and we're going to jump together. And they jump together, but because he has no idea what he's doing, they end up in two different time periods, and he has no idea where she's gone. And so he kind of convinces his grandfather to help him find her. Meanwhile, they're being chased by these bad guys for this skin map, and they are also trying to find the skin map and stop the bad guys. So that is the story, and there were parts of it that were interesting. Like, I really liked Wilhelmina's story, but honestly, I just wasn't captivated enough to keep going. There were a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different time periods. I was trying to think of the word, time periods throughout this book, and I just felt like anytime I started getting interested in something, it would swap over to something else, and then I'd lose my interest. And yeah, I just got bored. If I'm being honest, I just got bored. Loved the concept, don't necessarily love the execution. And it does make me sad because Stephen Moorhead is a good author, and he is a very prominent Christian fantasy author. So I was disappointed that I didn't love this one, but that's okay. Not every book can be for everybody. And I still am going to recommend it to you guys because, like I said, so many of the other Christian booktubers love this story, love these books. So just because I don't like it doesn't mean you won't. I just, for whatever reason, got a little bit bored. But yeah, the only other thing I want to talk about is chapter 20. Didn't love that. I would recommend just skipping that because there is a specific time period and a group of people that isn't super integral to the story, I would even say, but there is an interaction between one guy and another, and because of whatever customs I'm assuming were in that time period and in that location, they were like praising Allah, and like it was just part of their language to do as like a greeting and a goodbye and like to thank him for his prosperity and stuff. And I was not okay with that because as a Christian, I don't believe in Allah. I don't subscribe to that. He's a false god. So I don't like that bit, and I'm a bit confused why Stephen Moorhead felt the need to put that in there. But that just might be me that's being overly sensitive to that because I've read lots of books with false religions in there and everything, and it hasn't bothered me, but for whatever reason this did. So might just be a me thing, but I thought I'd let you know it's just in chapter 20 and you can easily skip that chapter without feeling as if you've missed part of the story. So that is the skin map. Sorry I rambled on for so long. And then there is Arena, and I loved this book. I really did enjoy it. So I'd probably give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't quite a 5. Like, there were just a couple of little things where I got a bit picky and I felt like it wasn't quite a 5. Like, it was really close, but not quite. But Arena, I did enjoy it. I think the reason why I didn't make it a 5-star was because, honestly, for a Christian book and a Christian author, this has some explicit content in it, which I was surprised about because apart from Redeeming Love, I haven't read any other Christian books that had explicit content in it before, and so it kind of just took me off guard a little bit, and I felt like it wasn't super necessary to the story either. For example, there is a scene where a girl gets sexually assaulted. I will use those words. Like there's no, it ends up getting interrupted, so it just ends up being assault. But she kind of put herself in that position because she was like in her like head, she was being like, why am I so sexually drawn to this guy, and like I don't know what it is about him. And so then she goes to a lake with him alone. She knows he's gonna make a move. He makes a move. She kisses him back, and then he tries to take it further. She tries to say no, and then he's like, no, you do want this. And so then it becomes assault. But it was a bit, I don't know, it made me uncomfortable. And I don't know why it was in there, really, because it didn't really need to be. But I don't know if that's just because she was trying to show like sinful nature and everything, because this story, I'll get to the actual story so you know what I'm talking about. This story is about this girl, and her friend need a little bit of money because they finished uni but they didn't really get great paying jobs or anything. And so to get a little extra money, they occasionally go do experiments like where they need human test subjects, where you get paid a little bit of money to be part of a trial. And so they sign up to this one experiment, which is to complete this obstacle course. And they're told it will take a few hours and like all will be well and that kind of stuff. And all they have to do is follow this white road and find the benefactor and get to the gate. That's all they have to do. And they sign up and they sign their lives away basically. And they're about to start, but our main girl, Callie, she gets kind of uncomfortable and she's like, nah, things aren't adding up here. Things are a bit weird. Like the people that are running this are a bit weird and I don't feel comfortable. So she tries to back out and the guy is like, no, you can't back out. It's too late. Like, if you insist on backing out, we're just going to drop you into this obstacle course without any further instruction. And she's like, no, I'm backing out. And so they drop her into this obstacle course. Turns out they actually beam her to another planet where there is this arena. Because this story is basically Christian Hunger Games, is what I would describe it as. And she is like dropped in this like desert kind of area. There is this road nearby that is white, and then she's got this pack with her and she's trying to go through this pack to find out what is going on. She finds this manual, only gets to read part of it before she like starts unpacking some of the gear, and then she starts getting attacked by this alien plant that is rather aggressive and deadly. And in her scramble to get away, she loses some of the equipment. She manages to hold on to the manual, which is where she finds out that she needs to get on this road and just keep going and she'll be fine, because apparently nothing can hurt you if you're on the white road. So she's going along the white road and she thinks she's going the right way, but she comes to a fork in the road and she's got agoraphobia, so she's like afraid of heights in a interesting sort of way. Like different things trigger her that aren't necessarily just a normal fear of heights. Like if she sees the numbers on an elevator go up, she gets nervous, or like certain levels she's fine with going up, but then not any further. And like there's just different things that cause it. And she decides to pick the fork in the road that doesn't lead upwards, and turns out it's a fake road. And so she starts getting attacked along this road. And she encounters this boy who comes and saves her. And he's like, dude, you stuffed up. You're not on the white road anymore. And she's like, what's going on? Where'd you come from? And he explains that he's been in this arena for 5 years. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, this is meant to be an afternoon thing. And he's like, yeah, they lied. Like, it's not. And she basically has to make the decision to go with him and find his friends, or if she's going to still try and follow the white road and do what the book says. Then a bunch of stuff happens. They keep getting attacked. There are these beings on here that are bad and are like basically kind of like maybe cannibal type people. They will eat anything and everyone in sight, but they'll also keep some people to turn them into themselves because they're like mutated people essentially. And they go through this firewall which can heal them, but it also makes them crazy, and if they like keep using it, like it's addictive. And yeah, so to keep their numbers up, they'll kidnap some people and turn them into these monsters with the firewall. Otherwise they'll just eat anyone that they encounter and kill anyone they encounter. And they're really oddly good at tracking and smell and everything. And yeah, a lot of stuff happens, but basically she ends up, her and her, like his friends and her, like him, they all feel like they were lied to, and that like there's no white road, there's no benefactor, there's no archway that will get them home and exit. But really they just don't understand the obvious signs in front of them. And this whole world was set up because the one alien race was like split up because the like one of the princes rebelled against the king, and he thought he'd be a better ruler, so he corrupted some of the aliens, and then the normal aliens stayed good. And so they made this arena to basically prove that this good king was good for a reason, and that like if you choose the right way and follow his way and everything, he will make everything right and he'll love you and he'll save you and you'll be better off. And so these other aliens that have turned bad are trying to corrupt the people that go through and prove that the king is bad and everything. And it's a big allegory for God and the fall of Satan and demons and our walk through life, and how we'll face many trials and sometimes we will suffer and die along the way, but God has us with him always if we pick him and if we keep the way open with him. Because there's like, later on they find out that there's like a connection that they can have with this king, like an internal connection and everything. It's very cool. It's probably the coolest allegory I've seen so far, I would say. Like, it's definitely, well, the only other like straight up allegory that I would say that is as good is Narnia, just because there's so many hidden things that if you know your Bible and all of that kind of stuff, you'll be like, oh, that's good. But if you don't know your Bible, you won't necessarily pick that out as anything significant. It's just cool story development stuff. But yes, I really did enjoy it. But yeah, the main chick, she does make a couple of bad choices, but like I feel she ultimately picks good. There is a cute romance in there as well, which I did like. And I did really enjoy the faith element to this, which was rather obvious. It's not super obvious at the beginning, but like after halfway, it becomes quite obvious, at least as a Christian, I would say. But yes, that is Arena. Excited to read other books by Karen Hancock as well, because I recently received one of her other books as an ebook, so I'm going to try that now that I've tried that one. But those were the couple of books I wanted to talk about. Took longer than I thought. And then my bookmark collection, guys. So there's a couple that I have made. So I painted Jana from the Wing Feather Saga. It's not very good, but it was an experiment. And then what else have we got? I'm just going to go through this pile. I don't think it's in any particular order. So I've got one from the Book Grocer, which is an Australian bookstore. Sorry about all the noise in the background. I've got a bookmark from the Piece of Frasedale, which comes out in a few months. So make sure you guys check that one out. I've got a few of these, but I don't know if I've got all of them with me because some of them have been stolen by my daughter, and so I don't have all of my bookmarks here. But it's like just a nice little forest with some light coming through. I've got 3 different ones that are all slightly different. I've got this one, which is from a secondhand bookshop here, just a little independent one called Oliver's Pre-Loved Bookshop. Oliver was a dog, like the owner's dog that they named it after, which I thought was really cute. And I love how it's just subtly bookish. Then I got this one with in the mail the other day with a book order that I got. It's promoting some kind of women's conference thing, and I liked it because it has like a timeline on the back of the Old Testament and the New Testament and like key things that happened along the way. So there's like creation, the fall, patriarchs, Exodus, kings and temples, the kingdom being divided, Jesus' birth and resurrection, Pentecost and gospel proclamation, and then the new creation. So I thought that was kind of cool. I got a couple of those. I've got one which is from Reformers Bookshop. I have a few of these, but they're all a different color, and then they have a different person on the back. So this one is Lady Jane Grey, and this says, "The highest earthly enjoyments are but a shadow of the joy I find in reading God's word." And then there's a couple others here that I'll show you. So I've got a green one, and on the green one is Susanna Spurgeon, which was Charles Spurgeon's mum or wife, I can't remember. And then Isaac Watts, and this one is like grey, and then a nice blue one, which is Anne Dutton. I have a few others, but I'm not sure where they are. Like I have one of John Wesley and stuff. Then I have one from Brotherhood Books, which is a charity bookshop that we have here as well, just with like a thank you for your support. Another piece of Frasedale, and then a couple others I made. So I've got Ponyo, I've got the Wind Rises. That one that wasn't painted very well, but there you go, I stuffed up the face. Same with this one, which is House Moving Castle. I did Hal's face properly, but I stuffed up Sophie's face. I couldn't get her expression right to save me. Another Oliver's Bookshop. This one's been manged by my daughter. Another piece of Frasedale because I got a couple in the mail. I have a couple of crocheted ones. I have 2 more. I have a sunflower and I have a poppy, but my daughter has taken them and I cannot find them. I also have, the daisy, which I love, and the lavender, which I also love. What else is in here? I've got another one from Reformers, which is J.C. Ryle. This one, which I thought was cute, which says greater gifts, and then on the back it says a little bit about the charity. I can't remember what package that came in, but that came in a package. Got this one, which I'm yet to take the price tag off, but I got this one from Koorong. I thought it was really beautiful. It says he is risen, Matthew 28:6, and then all of my gift tags from Amazon are all in here from gifts that I have been given. Then I have this one, which was made for me by my husband's auntie for Christmas. You can't quite see the colors very well on here, but it's like a light purple, like a lavender color is around there in the S, and then there's like different shades of blue and white and some like grays and stuff. It's really nice, and the S is for Sam, and it's a little corner. You put it over like the corner of the page. I have lots of this wrapping paper because it comes in the book grocer orders, and I think it's so cool. It just says I love books all over it. So I'm keeping that for something someday. And I've got this little tag which I can use as a bookmark, which has a beautiful little poppy on it, which I got in an order, and then my name. And then finally I've got these, which I am yet to open, but it says nothing can separate us from the love of God, Romans 8:38-39, which I can use as little bookmarks as well. So that's my bookmarks so far. Like I said, there's a few missing, but that is most of them. And yes, my goal is to get a bunch more, hopefully more bookish themed ones, because like I said, like I love some Brandon Sanderson themed booked ones, like maybe more Wing Feather Saga ones, Night Circus, that kind of thing, like pretty much maybe a recorder one. That would be really cool because I love that. Basically any of my favorite books as bookmarks would be really cool, but even just general bookishy things, sayings, pictures, that kind of stuff, I would love. So let me know in the comments below if you have any recommendations. What is your favorite bookmark? I would love to know as well. So that is everything for today. I will see you guys in the next video. I am hoping to do a live stream on Wednesday morning with an author, so hopefully that pans out all right. She said she will see how she goes because she's been having bad migraines and stuff, so I don't want to like pressure her, which is why I haven't done any posts about it yet. So we'll see how we go. Otherwise, I will make something up on Wednesday, and then Saturday I will be away, so I'm gonna have to pre-film that one for you guys. And then just a heads up, I haven't 100% decided, but I am leaning this way because I start uni this week. My first week is orientation, so it's not going to be super bad, but after that it's going to be pretty full on, and it happens in like 9-week sprints. So I might, while I'm at uni, drop down to 1 video a week so that I can try and still get something out to you guys, because I don't know how much reading I'll be able to do while I start that. And then during my holidays I'll probably go back to 2 videos, and then whenever I'm at uni, go back to 1, but we'll see. Let me know in the comments below if you mind about that or not. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.